Good morning. I've come out this morning for a long walk. Now what I am doing, I'm in an area today where there's been several sightings of a lice cat within these woods around here. Not only have 2 people within the last 3 years have seen this around this area. I'm going over to the area where I saw this cat over 18 months ago. We've had 2 days of constant rain, so it's a bit wet around this area, but the path I'm using isn't too bad. The last time I think I was up here was about 6 months ago, it might be. Yeah, I'd say about 6 months ago. So I've not been up here looking round for a while, but coming through this gate here, we just see all these woods. It's a big pine forest around here, and it does stretch on for some while. So I've just left a little village behind me, and I'm now walking this track. It's been a bit quiet this morning walking around here, and I can see how wet it is just looking to my right here. And this forested bit where I've just entered, we've got this lovely path going through, but it just stretches quite a distance in either direction from where I am. One going to a reservoir to my left, and the other one is to a road, the A666, and then over onto the moors of Titton and around that area. So that's the path I'm taking, which will take me to the stretch of road where I was coming down one afternoon and just saw this cat just stood there at the side of the road. I'm going to have a look round that area while I'm here, and I can imagine my feet or my shoes getting a bit wet while I'm walking through, because there's some places in there that's quite boggy. Not really good for people walking in, especially this time of year. I have brought with me today an harness where I can attach my camera to, and I'm going to put that on while I'm not talking to yourselves, and then you can see the path I'm walking. And while I'm around here, just in case I see anything a big cat or anything like that wandering around, the camera will catch it. These woods are amazing. They just stretch on and stretch on, and they're not really camping woods because the ground is too uneven. But yeah, you can walk in them. I don't think I will do today because it looks very boggy. I think I'll stick to the safety of the path. And if anything catches my eye, I've got the camera rolling, and it will be rolling all the time. So today I'm going to get lots of footage. It's very still and quiet at the moment. And it is always a quiet place around here, or it seems to be. Even in summer you don't get that many people walking around here. When I last came around here, walking around here, I came across some trail cameras that people had been putting up here, and I was wondering whether they were looking for the same thing, whether, because this cat has been spotted and reported to a local newspaper. So I'm wondering whether some of these people with trail cameras have put them up here to see whether they can capture it. Now if they have, and they ever get round to watching this, please get in touch. I'd love to see the footage. And it's like I said, I'm just walking through puddles here. It's like I said, I've seen it myself. I know it is around here. And for two people, or should I say three with myself, having spotted it around here, then it were either coming through here at that particular time, or it's using all this coverage around here. But as you can see, it's a beautiful place, and I can see the mast, which I'm going to be walking in that direction, and eventually get over there. I'm not sure whether I'm walking up to the mast today. It depends. I've nothing, no path that I want to actually go today. I'm just going to keep walking, and I'm actually walking until I get home. So I'm going to be walking over the tops to get to my area where I live. I've got evidence here of something bedding down. It looks as though it could be deer, because they've flattened this bit of grass here. And there's quite a pungent smell coming from this as well. It's a strange smell. I can't really explain the smell. It's nothing I've smelt before. That's quite a strange smell, that. Perhaps it's animals that have been peeing there and they've left all the time, and the scent's got quite heavy. Not nice at all. So a lot of the times with having the camera here on my chest, I'm busy looking down so I'm not slipping on anything, because the ground is quite wet underfoot. So there might be some things that I miss. So if you see anything in the background moving around, please let me know. I'm now on the road that winds through this woods. And this is the road I was coming down the day I saw the cat. I'm going to take you down to the exact area this happened. As we were travelling this part of the road, we came to this corner and I looked straight in front of me, and as you can see, we've got some trees just here. Now as we got to this point, I saw this thing and I started shouting to Cooch, who was driving at the time, to pull over. And that there is the exact spot where this cat was. It was just there, but it was facing into these trees. And as we went up the road and then reverses back down, and we got to this point, it wasn't there. So me and Harlem, who was with me at the time, jumped out and ran towards this area. But by the time we got here and had a look round, it had gone. And it was all behind me in these trees that we walked round trying to look for where it had run to, or any evidence of it walking around. Now that day, it was a dry day, and there wasn't really any paw marks anywhere, any footprints that we could find. And we ended up being in there for a good, I don't know how long, looking around. And then we got back and I thought, well, there's no way we're going to see it again. You know, it had disappeared. So at that point we went over to go to an area where it had been spotted a couple of days before, and it had been put in the local newspaper. And it was just that sheer look of actually seeing it while we were going past. It was amazing to actually see something like that. So I've had cameras up here. We've done a lot of night vigils up here. We've done a lot of walking around this area. Had, you know, quite a few trail cameras up and about, and we had no luck at all. So today is an off chance, me walking around, and you never know. If I'm looking for it, it might show itself, and yet again it might not. But it's worth having a look. We've not been up here for so long. It's to give it time to settle down, and all the sense of me rushing around the area and putting cameras up has now gone. So perhaps it could be back in this area, or it could move somewhere else. We're not going to know. But I'm just going to carry on walking, because I'm not walking in there today, because I know how bad it was when I went last time, and that was in summer. So after 2 days of torrential rain, it's going to be very, very wet, and I'm not risking that today. And as you've seen from some of the footages that I've been walking up here, you know, the rivers and the streams are running quite aggressively. And there's a big stream that runs right through the middle of that. So what I'm going to do is just have a look on this side, because it might be a little bit different over here, not as wet. So the woods on this side of the road are a little bit drier, and Oh, slippy in places. A little bit drier, but still there are some places that you can't get through, and there's a little footpath going through here, and I think it brings me out onto a little path where that'll take me in the direction I want to go. I've not seen anything in here, not seen anything that's that tells me there's any big cats in this area. In fact, the only thing I've seen is the litter, what people have left in here while they've been either walking, camping. Yeah, there's just human footfall everywhere and rubbish, which is a shame. You know, you think people would take the rubbish away with them, and there's bottles and there's all sorts of rubbish. In fact, I was walking up the road and somebody had dumped a great big mattress, which is quite ridiculous really. You know, fly tipping in a beauty spot like this. Anyway, I'm coming to the end of these woods now and going to get onto a little path. And this is what I mean with rubbish being left in here. Looks like I don't know what it is, a bit of tarpaulin. So here's a fire, what somebody's had, and you can see there's another one there. So it looks as though somebody's done a little bit of camping here and left these behind. And I don't know whether they used them in the pond just over there. Quite ridiculous really. You know, wouldn't you think people would take the rubbish away with them, because they would have only parked at the road here, so why not just put it in car and get rid of it at home rather than leaving it here in the middle of this lovely spot. See where we are now. I can see Windswept just in the distance, and that's where I'm heading to. Oh, bit of a fence here what they've snipped open. It's a good job really that they have done that, otherwise I would have been stuck in there having to go back. I think if I would have kept on walking within this area, I would have eventually ended up I thought there was somebody behind me then. Anyway, that startled me there. I don't know what it was. I actually thought there was somebody coming up behind me on a bike. What we were saying, yeah, over there, if I would have carried on going within these woods and working my way over, I would have eventually come to a reservoir. That is like a boating reservoir just over in that direction. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how I feel when I get to the bottom of Winter Hill, whether I will be walking up it, because I can see the path that cuts up the side of it, and I've not done that for a while, and it is on the way home. I could either walk around it where it's all flat, or actually go up and then back down again. Let's see how I feel when I get over there, because I think you're talking a couple of miles to get to the path I'm talking about from here. So that's the forested area behind me, and now I'm heading I'm heading in that direction towards where that white building is in the distance at the bottom of Winter Hill. There is a path that cuts up the side of the hill there, which I'll probably take, but let's see how I feel when I get there. Up to now I think I've walked about 4 miles. From where I started to where I am is now 3 miles, but I spent a bit of time wandering through the woods over there. So to get over there, because there's no path from where I am over to that side where I can cut through, because this is all private farmland going down to a river, and then there's houses, there's farms on that side as well, so there's no public right of way going straight across here. So what I'm going to have to do is take the road and walk the road towards Belmont. Well, it'll take me into Belmont and then walk up to that white building, which is San Marino's. Lovely Italian. But today, with my backpack, I brought my jet boiler, water and coffee, which I'll probably have when I get about over there before carrying on, because I've been out quite a while now, just wandering around that area. It's not taking that long actually. It's a nice straight road. Well, staying straight, a few curves here and there, but straight enough. And getting closer and closer to the mast as well. So once I get over there, there's a wall I'm gonna make myself a coffee with. But I'll tell you what a view. That's what I love about walking up here, seeing all this. Getting people's accounts of what's happened up here. Because if you see with the sign earlier on, this road takes us to the A675. And anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't seen it, there's a little documentary on here a few weeks back I put up called the A675 Phenomena, which is all about this road that runs along where I'm walking to eventually down here, with a few strange things that's happened. There's been UFO sightings, shadow man accounts, all sorts of strange phenomena that's occurred around here. So yeah, when I get over to the restaurant, there's a nice wall. I'm going to get my jet boiler out, have a sit down, make a coffee, and then yeah, I'm feeling energetic enough to walk up to the mast today, and then walk back down the other side, back towards home. Well, here we are at last, and that's where I was over there, where you can see that line of trees. A line of pine trees right in the distance, and San Marino's right next to Lottie's, a small little cafe. So I'm going to set up here and make myself a brew, sit on this wall. It's a perfect little spot to sit before heading up over to the hill itself. coffee in pocket, and now up towards the mast. But what I am going to do is fit the camera to my chest, and then you can do the walk with me from the bottom all the way to the top. About halfway up now. That didn't take long. It took me about 15 minutes to see it up to here from down there. I'd say another 15-20 minutes and I should be at the top. Last time I did this walk I was with Dale Makin. We were doing a bit of filming up here, and it was a foggy night, a very foggy night, raining and blowing a gale, and it must have taken us about an hour to an hour and a half to get up to the top. It was that bad. But today, with it being a clear day, and not too bad at all underfoot, because the water is running at the side of the path, so we're not getting wet and slipping around, so it's not taking me that long. What a view up here though. Magnificent. I can see all the way over to Rochdale, Blackstone Edge over there. Then we've got Oakham Moor. Oakham Moor's in that direction as well. And then we've got all the back of Ainsworth over on the other side of the hill over there. And I can just about make out the Roddlesworth Woods, and it's good to see that the reservoir over here is full again. Right, I'm going to carry on and get to the top now, and I'll see you in about 20 minutes. So it's taken me 11 minutes to get to this spot, but I wanted to stop here and show you what I can see from here, which is really amazing. I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to start at the bottom end where I walked up and eventually get to the top as I'm pointing out landmarks. So in the distance over there where you can see the windmills, just before that there's a little tower sticking up which is Oakham Moor. That's Peel Tower. Then in the distance you have the windmills around Bury, and going further on from there you got Blackstone Edge. Now as we move along, the reservoir at the bottom, what you can see down there and all them woods, them are the woods that I started off in. You can see in the distance there's more windmills going over there. Now them are on Aslingden Moor, around that area. And then we go along here, you've got this great big hill here, and that's going down into Roddlesworth, Tockles area. Then in the distance, which is in a bit of an haze, there is Pendle Hill. And then as you come across, you'll see, I'll put a little mark, then you can see there's like a little bump in the middle there, and that is Roundloaf. That's a burial mound on Angleside Moor. And then we go up, and as you can see we are on Winter Hill at the moment, and there's the mast which I'm going to head up to any second. And from here now it should take me at least 7 minutes to get up there. Here I am at the top. Now the actual trig point is just over in that direction, but I'm not going to walk over to that. Now it's all the way back down again and past the mast. So I'll show you that as well, because that's one of the engines to the plane that crashed up here in 1948. So at the main moment, the main path going past the mast is being worked on. So they've shut down that main path, and you've got to walk round the building of the mast, which is extremely boggy. If I would have known this, I would have stuck to I would have stuck to going back down where I've just come from. But I've come so far now and I'm nearly there. I'm hoping I can get through at a point there, because if I can't, it means me going all the way down, and I've come the wrong way. Well, this is very wet, a wet sodden moorland today, and I'll try to walk not in the paths but around the paths where people have been walking. I think I can get through over here. I'm hoping I can get through anyway, because if not, I might have to go back and go a different way. I can see people. If I can just get through that little bit there, I'm home and dry. But let's see. This is another one of them. If you don't see this video, then I didn't make it, because I can't believe how wet this is. Fact. That's a bit drier. Not much. But if I can get us through that there, through that little space, otherwise it means we're walking all the way down, and I don't know what it's going to be like. But I don't know if you can hear that. It's dragging me down a little bit. Oh, this isn't too bad. I don't think I can get through that bit there. They've actually cordoned it off all the way down. But there is a path what people have actually been using, and it's a bit dry area. I got a bit worried then. Oh, saying that, it's all wet again here. It's boggy, but it's hard bog. I don't think I'm going to sink in this point here, which I was a little bit worried about further back. I thought I was going to go down. And again here, it's very, very peaty and very boggy. So I've got to be careful where I'm walking. I'm checking the ground first before walking on this. There is clumps of heather, so what I'm doing is walking in them clumps of heather, because I know they're going to be solid roots. Now there's this little bit here. You know, it's just hard to fathom out, because it could go on and on and on, these big puddles, or they could just go straight down. Very dangerous really walking around here like this. If only I could get through this fencing. If I could and be on the other side, I'd be fine. Well, this is very eerie. Does make me a bit nervous when I'm walking on paths like that, or not even paths, because they're doing so much work up here at the moment on the mast. They put a fence in all around the perimeter, and they've actually put them around the perimeter of the fencing, of the main fence, and going past the wires here. And because of that, the fencing goes all the way around to the last bit of wiring, and that makes this bit of fencing quite long, and these paths also, well, temporary paths, aren't very good for walking on. You can hear again underfoot, it's sort of springing. It's as though I'm walking on a bed, on a water bed. I'm not far from the end now actually. But what's not good about this is a lot of the old mine shafts are around here on this side of the hill, or should I say on this side of the mast. And I can see one in front, and it's been cordoned off. It's got a fencing round it, so you can't actually go near it. And if that does collapse, or any of this ground where I'm walking along collapses, then I'm straight down in the old mine shafts, and I don't know how far down they are. because it was last year that one of the where the path is collapsed, and there's a great big hole there now. So that's what worries me about walking on this harsh bit of moorland here around the mast itself. I will be glad once I'm on that road. Oh, that's a bit soggy. And here I'm coming to the end, so what I've got to do, get round this, and I believe I might have to walk back up, unless I can walk straight across. If I can walk straight across, I can get onto the road, but if not, I've got to walk all the way back round this fencing to get back to the road, which is a bit of a pain. In fact, I might have to go that way anyway because of the path I need to get on, but it depends how far up it is. And here we go again, we've got a great big massive bit of bogland, very marshy. So there's going to have to be extra careful here at this point as well. I can't believe, you know, how nervous I'm feeling doing this, because I know how harsh it can be, these places, and people have lost their lives walking over this part of the moor. You know, they've walked along and collapsed, fallen, broken a leg or whatever. Oh, I'm sinking. Walking around here at this time of year is one of the worst times to walk around. Ha! You know, I can see a path. Whew. See, what I'm actually walking on as well is a natural springs that come up because this is the start of one of the main rivers that runs Lancashire, around Lancashire. Now, oh wow, that is buggy. I wonder if I can get across that. I might have to walk up a little bit because it goes down into a dip here. I don't fancy going straight down. As you can see, I've got this little bit here which is loose. I don't know if I should risk it walking on because it's got peat, a lot of peat. But it looks as though somebody's walked along here. So I'm going to risk it because I need to get onto that little path just on the other side of this wall, and then I can walk up to the path because I need to get on the other side in a minute. Well, this is difficult. Oh, now look at that. Oh, I meant to get across that. And this is a bit of the path further down where it's collapsed. Now I've got to get over here because I don't know how deep that is. There we go. Whew. So that's what I mean. We don't know how deep that is going to go, that boggy. Peaty soil, that's all there. That was very demanding. I'm so glad now I'm up here again. So as you can see, I've had to walk all the way around that bit of fencing. And I'll make sure I don't do that again. I'm not coming up this way until these gates are open again. The thing is though, it's only, you know, it's when you get to the gates that they've closed, it's on either side of this building. So it only takes not more than a minute to walk that road past the building back to where I am. But that is taking me, I don't know how long, because I've been concentrating on where I'm walking. But hopefully now, all the way down, we're going to be okay, because it's all downhill now and back home. I mean, look at that. There's no way you could walk on that. Well, back on solid road. But now I've got to go back off again. So I'm only on this a second. Usually from this point you can see the coast, but there's that much of a smog out there, you can't really see one today. It looks as though we've got rain coming in at some point today. Hopefully after I get back home. So now I've got to go this way. And this is the beginning of Smithills Country Park. And this is this bit's called the Rotary Way, although it's part of the Rotary Way along here. It's pathed with flags and bits of wood here and there with like little wooden walkways. So this isn't too bad of going back, but I don't step on the grass here because we'd definitely go down. So really, for a 1 minute walk to get through there, I think it's taken me at least 15 minutes to get all the way around there, looking for places that are decent enough underfoot without me going down to about my knees. A lot easier this, walking on these. Oh, this is sunken a bit though. Oh wow, look at this, what they've made. This is brilliant. This used to be the path until it collapsed, and then they made a little bridge. If only it were like this all the way. And then back onto the flags, because a lot of these walks around here, they've been up here putting the flags down, as you can see, but some of these flags have sunken right down in some places that you've got to jump over one or two flags. Luckily I'm going this way, and this will take me all the way down to Smithills. Oh, but we're on dirt paths. Now this is one of my favourite walks up here because it's very, very quiet, and on a day that there's no wind, it's so still up here. But at the moment there's a wind blowing from in front of me, and it's carrying the sound of sirens right in the distance. And I think I can just about hear the motorway. Now usually you can't hear that at this point because we are right on top. To the right of me is just a mast where we've just left. So this track now will take me all the way down to a road called Pit Lane, which then takes me onto a road that takes me all the way down Smithills and home. Don't know if you can hear that siren in the distance. So the 2 points you can see just in the distance there, that's called the Two Lads. I've spoken about them before on other videos while I've been walking around here. But these there's a couple of stories that come from this, but the most well-known story is that a chieftain who lived around here at one time, his 2 boys went out in the snow hunting and never returned, and when the snow had cleared and they went out looking for them, they found the bodies over there. So now there are 2 monuments for these 2 boys, and this monument is called the Two Lads. Well, I can't believe this. This was once a shelter. Many and many years I've been walking around here. And it looks as though it's all been caved in. Probably because it was probably dangerous. Used to have a fire in there as well, like a little light fireplace. So, I mean, you could shelter in here. So I wonder if somebody was using it. They didn't like the idea of that, and now they've just pushed all the brick inwards. But it was originally used for pheasant shooting or grouse shooting. But the fireplace was there in the corner. I'll just finish my coffee before heading off, and it's just perfect now. It's nice and cool, so I can drink it pretty quick. Well, it's been a pleasant walk today. Not cold, not too hot. It's perfect. Bit damp underfoot here and there, especially when I was going around the mast. The path I'm taking is quite in the distance there now, and could have sworn I saw a couple of people walking down it a second ago, but they seem to have gone into the valley. I can't see them. They'll probably come up in a sec, because it's not going to take me long to get back now from here. It's always easier going straight down. You know, I've done all the hard part going straight up. Can hear planes moving overhead. So peaceful as well here. I set out this morning from home about 9:30, so it's been a long day. a long walk. It's now 1:45. I was hoping to get back about 1 o'clock, so I'm ready for food when I get in. I set out without having anything to eat and just thought I'd have coffee and then I'd have my dinner when I got back. But I always lose track of time when I'm out here. I just carry on walking and walking and walking. I weren't going to do this walk, well this distance of a walk today. I was only going to get to the top of Winter Hill and maybe come back a different way, which would have been quicker. But coming back this way, it's a little bit longer, but it takes me straight to the road I need to be on to get straight home. I can see two people up there walking in the distance. They're walking a different route than what I'm walking. It looks like they're going up rather than down. But there's so many walking paths around here. There we go. Oh. Put that back in here and then carry on. This is the last leg of the journey now. Yeah, I was hoping to sit down in there for a bit, but yet again, if I sit down now, I'm going to get to that point where I can't get back up again. I'll just want to just sit there and relax for a bit. But while I'm stood up, I can get going and get moving. So here we go again, carry on. So here we are at the trespass stone, and this is a little bit of a memorial, and it says, "Will you come on Sunday morning?" And it says, on Sunday the 6th of September 1896, 10,000 Boltonians marched by this spot to reclaim an ancient right of way over Winter Hill. The path is now dedicated as a public right of way for the enjoyment of all. And it's a bit faded at the bottom. And it says 6th of September 1996. That's when this was put here. So yeah, 10,000 Boltonians came up to march these paths to protest the right of way, because around here we're being told that we couldn't walk these paths, and like most Boltonians, if there's any protesting to be done, we usually come in our thousands. It's a bit like the Civil War, when we beheaded the Earl of Derby in Bolton. And Bolton is actually the largest town in the UK, and it's never been made into a city. Now my belief is that the royals, for some reason, still don't like the people of Bolton, because we beheaded the Earl of Derby in the town centre at the height of the Civil War. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've never got to become a city, even though we had the biggest town in the UK. And like I said, when it comes to protesting, you'll always find people from Bolton who don't really care much for our governments, and we'd rather be left alone to get on with everyday life rather than being dictated to how we should live our lives. So yeah, in 1896, 10,000, imagine that, 10,000 people from Bolton all walking up here to protest that they want to walk on these lands. And if it weren't for them, I don't think I'd be walking around freely like I do. In fact, most people wouldn't be walking around freely like they do on the moors. So good on them for doing what they did. I am about half an hour from home, so what I'm going to do is wrap this up, and then I can put everything in my backpack and just concentrate on getting home, because it's quite late now and I'm very hungry. It's been an enjoyable walk, and it's been nice having you along as well. What I might do actually, when I was walking up the side of Winter Hill, because on this video I'm going to get it faster and it's not taking too much space up in this video. But what I will do is maybe put the original one on and slow it down with a bit of music, and you just walking up the hill. And if that's the case, then it will come on after this video, after you've watched this. Once I've put this up, I'll leave it a couple of days and then I'll put that one up. Oh, I think we've got a kestrel up in a tree here. Yes, we have. Too late. Every time you want to get the camera to pan on something like that, they just disappear, don't they? So this road I'm on, it won't take me long to get down to the bottom of it, and then there'll be a lot of people walking about. So, but yeah, I'll end it here. And again, thanks for watching, thanks for coming along. Do the usual, like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you on the next one.